Rigathi Gachagua. A name that has, in recent years, become synonymous with both power and controversy in Kenya's political landscape. From his humble beginnings in the hills of Nyeri, to rising as the country's deputy president, and finally to his dramatic impeachment in 2024, Gachagua's story is one of ambition, resilience, and turbulence. Today, we dive deep into who Rigathi Gachagua is, the legacy he leaves behind, and his current political thoughts as he attempts to stage a comeback. Born in 1965, in Hiriga village of Nyeri County, Gachagua grew up in a family steeped in the Mau Mau liberation struggle. His parents, Gachagua Reriani and Martha Kirigo, were both fighters for Kenya's independence. That heritage shaped his early worldview. Politics, for him, was never just about power. It was about lineage, struggle, and identity. After attending the University of Nairobi, where he studied political science and literature, Rigathi stepped into the world of public service. He worked as a district officer, and later rose through the civil service ranks, even serving close to the late President Uhuru Kenyatta as his personal assistant when Kenyatta was Minister for Local Government. These years quietly prepared him for a bigger stage. In 2017, Gachagua was elected Member of Parliament for Mathira constituency. On the campaign trail, he positioned himself as a straight talker, a grassroots leader who understood the struggles of ordinary people. That brand of raw, unapologetic politics would become both his greatest asset and his biggest liability. By 2022, William Ruto picked Gachagua as his running mate under the Kenya Kwanza coalition. The choice surprised many, but it worked. Together, they won the general election, defeating the Azimio coalition led by Raila Odinga. Gachagua became Kenya's deputy president, a position of immense power and influence. But the years that followed were rocky. On one hand, Gachagua embodied the image of a fearless deputy, unafraid to speak bluntly about issues of governance, economy, and ethnic politics. On the other hand, his tone often deepened divisions. He was accused of prioritizing ethnic loyalty over national unity, and of fueling political tension when calm was needed most. Meanwhile, allegations of corruption haunted him. In July 2022, a court ordered him to forfeit 202 million shillings, ruling that the money was proceeds of corruption. Though he denied wrongdoing, the headlines chipped away at his credibility. Then came 2024. The National Assembly leveled 11 charges against him, ranging from violation of his oath of office to publicly attacking state institutions like the National Intelligence Service and stoking ethnic division. The Senate upheld 5 of those charges. And on November 1st, Rigathi Gachagua was officially removed as Kenya's deputy president, making him the first in the country's history to be impeached from that high office. So, what are Gachagua's political thoughts today? Where does he stand after impeachment? In his public statements since removal, Gachagua has doubled down on his political identity. He insists that his impeachment was not about justice, but about betrayal by his allies and by a system that sought to silence him. He has portrayed himself as a victim of political games, a man who spoke uncomfortable truths and was punished for it. He continues to emphasize his roots in the Mount Kenya region, framing himself as the defender of its people and interests. In his speeches, he paints himself as the leader who stood firmly for his community when others, in his view, compromised. Most notably, Gachagua has already hinted at his next move, a possible run for the presidency in 2027. Though his political base has weakened, with several allies defecting, he remains adamant that he is not done yet. He speaks of unfinished business and the need to fight for fairness in governance. Critics argue that Gachagua is leaning too heavily on ethnic politics at a time when Kenya needs unity. They also question whether a leader with such a controversial record can realistically mount a national campaign. Yet, his supporters insist that his outspokenness is exactly what Kenya needs, a leader unafraid to challenge the establishment, no matter the cost. So, what lies ahead for Rigathi Gachagua? Will he manage to reinvent himself as a comeback king, turning impeachment into a springboard for higher office? Or will history remember him as a cautionary tale, a leader who rose quickly, but fell just as fast, undone by his own choices and rhetoric? As we look toward 2027, one thing is certain: Gachagua is not fading quietly into political retirement. His current political thoughts make it clear he sees himself as a fighter still in the ring, sharpening his message and waiting for the next round. Rigathi Gachagua's journey is still being written. For now, he stands as one of the most polarizing figures in modern Kenyan politics. Loved by some, despised by others, but impossible to ignore.